I think I'm making a video that's completely positive about World of Warcraft. It's nice. The new World of Warcraft expansion, Dragonflight, has dropped, and it has everyone scrambling. First impression reviews, guides, gameplay. Top content creators are amazed at how well Dragonflight's first week has gone, and also, here's how to efficiently do everything and anything and level up as fast as possible. Funny enough, that's pretty normal for a World of Warcraft expansion. Every time an expansion drops, the same things happen. Players level up as fast as they can and start exploring the max level content. They grind the new player power system to build their stats as much as possible, and they start running mythic dungeons so that when the first raid tier drops, they are as ready as possible to attempt a usually overtuned raid that is too difficult for anyone but the world first guilds to complete. Okay, that might be a bit of an exaggeration, but not really the point of the video. The point of this video is to say that Blizzard tried to shake up this formula with Dragonflight. Of course, you're never going to get away from performance-minded players trying to blast through the content to reach max level and gear up as best as possible. In fact, I don't think they should try to get away from that. That's how WoW players have enjoyed playing retail in the past, and they won't just stop that because Blizzard introduced some other things to do. But Blizzard did introduce some other things to do. And so far, at least within the first week or so, they work very well. I have over 2 days of game time logged on my druid, just played at max level, and I also have a warlock at max level as well, so I've played a lot. But probably more importantly than how much of a neckbeard I've grown in the last week is how much of a wide variety of content there is to enjoy. And to me, this is so important. Like I mentioned, there's been a formula for new expansions, or basically anytime there's a major patch with a new raid. It's pretty much always a mad dash for max power, and maybe a couple of cool side quests or recolor mount collection to do. There might be some traces of fun exploration or puzzle solving, maybe a mini game or two that might be mandatory to complete depending on the level of reward, but most certainly there is always a player power system grind that will only last for that raid tier. Maybe for the expansion, never more. I think it's safe to say that this is much harder for the average player to enjoy. Imagine jumping on a moving treadmill. Yeah, of course, some people are going to be able to hit the ground running and keep moving at that pace, but others are going to be left behind and not be able to keep up. Some players will look at this treadmill and think, if it's already moving so fast, why should I even bother jumping on? Why don't I go find a treadmill that's a bit slower and moves at my pace? This is a metaphor, of course. I play World of Warcraft. I don't know how a treadmill works. I haven't left the comfort of my office chair in years. But I think one of the lesser praised aspects of Dragonflight so far is the slowing of that progression treadmill. And I don't mean that Blizzard slowed the content release. The first raid tier, the Vault of the Incarnates, releases on December 12th. This is roughly the same amount of time as Castle Nathria, the first raid tier for the Shadowlands expansion. What I mean is that Blizzard increased the accessibility of the progression treadmill by adding in more ways to progress your character. Exploration, dragon riding, world quests that give you scaling item level rewards, professions that when mastered can give you gear more powerful than mythic dungeons. Yes, you can do the same thing you've always done. You can level to max efficiently, grind endgame dungeons, move on to heroics and then mythics, but now you can ride around on your dragon and find dragon glyphs, which allow you to upgrade your dragon riding and make travel the most enjoyable it's ever been. You can take part in dynamic events around the Isles that provide gear with the same item level as heroic dungeons and give you reputation with a faction that can then provide even better rewards. Why does this appeal to a wider audience? Because no matter what you do, no matter what your preference is in gameplay, you are still progressing your character. There's always going to be a most efficient way to play, but now we can finally ask, what is the most fun way to play? And that's opinion, obviously. For me, I rode around on my dragon, having fun hitting top speeds and flying through obstacles, and then I'd look at my map or I'd look around me and there was always some sort of event going on. So I'd stop, check it out, complete whatever it was, and then hop on my dragon and continue on my way. Dragon riding is so crucial to this expansion, not just because it allows you to travel quickly, but because it's the vehicle, quite literally, with which Blizzard can make everything else fun and accessible. If traveling to and from events is a game itself, then no one complains about how far away things are, or how tedious it is to have to dismount and remount every time you want to pick up an herb or mine a node. Yeah, those are still technically problems, but who cares? Because the act of traveling is fun and engaging now. It's not a minute of hitting auto run and going AFK, it's calling your dragon, skyrocketing around the map, and seeing how fast or how far you can go without running out of energy. Granted, it does suck when you run out of energy, but at the beginning of the expansion, when you have less energy, you don't have to travel as far anyway. But one of the most important effects of this new design is that it allows any type of player to get involved in any level of content. If you really like exploration and love taking part in world events, you're going to get good gear and continue to receive better and better gear as you keep exploring or taking part in world events. And once you have that gear, you're able to keep up with the dungeon content. So if you want to run a heroic dungeon every once in a while, you'll already have the gear to do so. If you really like grinding professions and playing the economy, but sometimes you want to go out and take on elite mobs or world bosses or do some questing to get a specific set of gear for your transmog, you'll already have the gear to do so, because you can either create high quality gear with your own professions or set a crafting order to buy it off someone else who can make it for you. And the depth of each of these features allows for hours upon hours of gameplay. World quests can include killing mobs, collecting items, taking part in a faction event, killing a rare mob, helping some fishermen restock their fishing area with more fish. Once you unlock them through a reputation, there are world quests to try out a rock climbing minigame, or a Pokemon Snap-like moving picture raft called cataloging, and there's more that I haven't tried yet. That's just one feature in the game. Another is dragon riding. This was one of the main selling points of the expansion, and so much comes along with it. Dragon racing, dragon glyphs to upgrade your dragon riding skill, making your dragon pretty or terribly ugly with different transmogs. You use dragon riding to complete quests, to plant flags in tall peaks you've climbed, and of course, to reach the very top of the map, because if you have a system like dragon riding, then of course you need to hide a secret at the highest point of elevation in the expansion. I don't know if you can tell, but I like the expansion so far, and I think the WoW team has done a great job of trying to widen their audience. This was one of the things I was most critical of them in the past. I think they've done a great job in laying the foundation for gameplay that will attract new players, casual players, or even returning players who left because they didn't like that the new raid was basically all there was to do in the new patch. Dragonflight was the natural next step from Zereth Mortis, the last patch of Shadowlands, where the team tried to add new ways to play the game. But with the new expansion comes more resources and more time to build upon those ideas. And so far, I think they've done a great job. I will say it again though, there's no way to tell how good or bad an expansion is going to be based on the first week. Everything is fresh, it's new, it feels good because we're doing it for the first time. It will be extremely important for the World of Warcraft team to keep these new features updated and relevant. In the past, Blizzard has shifted focus away from side features to only work on raids and Mythic Plus dungeons, and I wouldn't want any of the new things like dragon riding or professions or exploration or faction rewards to get the same amount of attention as Torghast or island expeditions. I think the reason I'm so happy and honestly surprised that Dragonflight has done so well to appeal to a broader audience is because WoW has never really had a problem with the progression aspect of the game. Yeah, borrowed power systems are annoying, and the heavy vertical progression grinds were getting a bit tiresome, but in my opinion, it was the lack of side content that made these progression features feel worse. If you like raiding, the raids have always been awesome. If you like Mythic Plus, the dungeons have always been awesome. If you like PvP, even with its balance problems and lack of new content, the responsiveness of the combat has always made it pretty awesome. But other than those three pillars, and of course, mount collecting, it's been a long time since we've had an expansion focus more on the exploration, on the travel, on the questing experience and storytelling, making a cohesive world that players can feel at home and excited to be in. And I think so far, Dragonflight has done that pretty damn well. A lot of people have asked me if it's time to give World of Warcraft a chance now that Dragonflight is being received so well. While I do believe that Dragonflight has made huge steps towards being accessible and fun to a wider range of people, new expansions are always fun, and to be completely honest, I won't even think about making a review until we're past the first raid tier. But I can't deny that it's been a long time since I've played World of Warcraft this much. I mean, my /plate hasn't been this high probably since college. If you were ever curious to try World of Warcraft at the peak of expansion hype, it's not too late. I think this is probably the most new player friendly the game has been for a long time, even from level 1. And you know what? Talent points are back. Come try World of Warcraft with talent points. I guarantee you talent points make a huge difference in the new player experience. But most importantly, I hope you enjoyed the video. More Dragonflight content will come out as we get further into the expansion and I try out the new raid. Let me know in the comments section what you've liked most about the expansion so far, and if you think that it'll continue this way or if it'll burn out and end up just like Shadowlands. Leave a like if you liked the video and subscribe for more content. I hope you enjoy your Proto-Drake slaying adventures, and I can't wait to see what we talk about next.